In our last video, I posed the question of why an infinite, serene, complete, perfect being would create anything, since by definition it could not lack for anything. Why is it bothering with all of this? Well, an infinite being is by definition infinite power, infinite healing, infinite love, infinite generosity. It is also infinite creativity. And infinite creativity must create infinitely. Now, if you ask a religious person, they will tell you that God's creation happened eons ago, and when God was done, God stopped. That's wrong. Infinite creativity must create infinitely, which means there can never be an end to God's creation. It goes on eternally. Now, if you took high school science class, you know that our solar system started as a cloud of hydrogen atoms. And over eons of those atoms banging into each other and pulling on each other, we eventually ended up with a star in the middle and planets going around. Well, what we're seeing is a movement from general to specific, from a cloud of hydrogen atoms to our world to you and me. And it's interesting to note that we are the first creatures to emerge from the evolutionary process who are not bound by the evolutionary process that created us. Human beings are very rapidly getting to a point where we'll be able to choose our own evolution. Now, with this scenario of the cloud of hydrogen atoms becoming a solar system, eventually you end up with a planet like ours that can support life. And that planet produces a biosphere in which all the plants and animals have filled evolutionary niches, filled environmental niches through a process of natural selection. And that's it. That's as far as nature can go. So for the infinite to create all the other things that are inherent in it, like Ronco rotisserie ovens and laptop computers and Mozart concertos and football stadiums and skyscrapers and space shuttles, it had to create, well, us. It had to create beings who could know ourselves as individuals and who could look objectively at the world around us and take what we saw there and shape it into new things that do not occur through the natural processes of the world. We, you and I, are an essential component of God's creativity. That's what we're here for. That's why we're all unique. And because you are a thinking, choosing point of awareness within this infinite being, all of that infinite being is centered on you and seeking greater and greater expression through you every minute of every day. Now, don't get too high on your horse about that, because it's centered on everybody else too. But that's why you're a unique individual, and you satisfy your divine purpose simply by living your unique life. Your life is unique to you. There's never been one before, never going to be another one. Now, sure, you can look around and see people whose lives are similar to yours, yeah, but you'll never see anyone whose lives are identical to yours, because that's just not possible. There are too many variables. So you are fulfilling your divine purpose even if you fail at absolutely everything you do in your entire life, because your failures will be unique to you. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you probably care whether or not you fail at everything in your entire life. Yeah, me too. Which brings us to the first truth I want you to take away from this video. The infinite takes what it finds in your mind and in your heart, and it builds your life out of it and builds your body out of it. Everything in your life is an exact, down to the minutest detail, reflection of what you carry in your mind and your heart, and nothing else. So anything good or bad that you focus your attention on is going to grow and flourish. And if your life sucks, well, that's why. That 2-hour commute, that lousy job, those bratty kids, that pain in your back, it's all the result of years of lousy thinking about yourself and your expectations. Now, This is good news. Yes, it is. Because if you were being beset by external forces beyond your control, you'd be screwed, wouldn't you? But if everything that you're experiencing started in your mind and your heart and emerged outward into form, that means you have the control. You have the power to change any of it or all of it by changing the raw materials you are giving the infinite to work with. So if your life is crappy, it's not because God is holding out on you or because God is pleased when we suffer, which is a grotesque idea that's been put forward by the religions of the world for thousands of years. Now, I know some of you may be taking this as this kind of psychological thing where, you know, if you're more positive, you'll behave more positively and get more positive results. And yeah, that's true as far as it goes. But I am talking about something far more vast and sublime than just you. Which brings us to the second truth I want you to take away from this video. God doesn't give you what you want or what you need. God gives you what you believe in. Now, this is why most church prayer fails. You know, religious people are constantly praying for things that they don't get, and they never seem to wise up that nothing is answering their prayers. Your beliefs are the things in your mind that never change. They're the bedrock of all of your other thinking. They're the thoughts you don't question. Which brings me to the third truth I want you to take with you from this video today. The infinite interprets every belief as a request. Yeah. Bang your head on that for a second. So say one day you're sitting around wool gathering, you're staring out the window, and you think, God, I would love to have a Rolls Royce. It would be so great to be able to be seen driving around in a Rolls Royce. I would love that. Well, the infinite is listening. And it instantly says, oh, she wants a Rolls Royce. Okay, let's get to work on that. And everything in the world required for you to have a Rolls Royce in your daily experience turns towards you and begins moving towards you. And then the timer on your stove dings. And you go, oh, my muffins are done. And you know, the infinite says, oh, okay, forget the Rolls Royce, we're on the muffins now. And so no Rolls Royce. The infinite makes 100 U-turns like that for you, for me, for us, every day. Now, if you're like I was back in the day, right about now you're asking yourself, why didn't anybody tell me? Yeah, you know that episode of Bewitched when Endora gives Darren 3 wishes and then doesn't tell him about it? Yeah, life is like that. Unless you look at it from another angle and realize that everything is telling you. Every situation in your life, every person in your life, the condition of your body, it is all shouting at you, and it is all shouting the same thing over and over. Figure it out. Which brings me to the fifth truth I want you to take from this video today. The thing that makes you sick is the thing that makes you well. The power that brings joy and health and abundance and satisfaction is the same power that brings disease and limitation and frustration. The same power pointed in opposite directions. And you're the one who's using it. Now, maybe you'll say, well, that sounds easy. All I have to do is change some of my beliefs. Have you ever tried to change a single belief in your head? It is murder. It is laborious, it is time-consuming, and it is boring because you have to monitor every thought that crosses your mind and every word that comes out of your mouth until you get your consciousness pointed in the direction you want. That's why what I'm teaching you in these videos isn't the most popular spiritual system in the world. You got to work at it. You can't just plonk yourself down in a church pew on Sunday morning and listen to some minister go on about, I don't know, redemption or something, and then walk out of there thinking you're Jake with God. You want what you want, you got to do the work. Now, maybe you'll say, well, that's just too much trouble. I can't be bothered with all of that. Well, okay, yeah, that is entirely your choice to make. You have free will. But you might as well say to the infinite, I now place myself under the law of averages. I'll have some good days and some bad days, because whatever happens, happens. There's nothing you can do. That is not a scenario I find appealing. Now, before you throw yourself headlong into some mad program to change every thought in your head, please refer to the next video, because there are some really lousy ideas about yourself that you need to get a handle on before